Welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we are going to completely rethink what it means to be lonely. Usually, we think isolation means having absolutely nobody. But what if that's not always true? Just look around. You can have a loving family, lifelong friends, coworkers messaging you literally all day, a feed full of friendly faces, and hundreds of online connections, yet you can still lack a vital physical anchor to the world. Today we're diving into a really fascinating concept called social health, and we're going to do it through the lens of three very distinct, very modern stories.
So, I want you to start by asking yourself this one specific, kind of striking question. What happens when the people you love live too far away to open your front door? It's basically the core conflict of our modern digitally connected lives. We've outsourced so much of our physical existence to technology and delivery apps that we've kind of engineered accidental encounters right out of our lives.
All right, let's dive right into this. On the agenda for today, first, the social health illusion. Second, story 1, the spare key. Third, story 2, Thursday groceries. Fourth, story 3, the seventh game. And finally, the missing pieces.
Starting with section 1, the social health illusion.
So the definition of social health is actually super fascinating. It's a state of local, physical interconnectedness and mutual reliance, which means it is totally distinct from just having friends. You see, someone can have a deeply fulfilling emotional life with friends spread all across the country, but still lack localized social health. It's really about who shares your physical environment and your daily routines. It's those micro interactions, right? Waving to the mail carrier, chatting with the barista who knows your order, or just recognizing the same people walking their dogs when you do. These small, physical tethers, they absolutely matter. Moving on to section 2, story 1, the spare key. Meet Elena. She's a 43-year-old remote operations director whose perfectly curated, highly efficient life is about to hit a very literal, physical wall. Notice the stark contrast in her daily reality here. On one hand, she's got digital abundance. Her workdays are packed. At 9, she's talking to Chicago. At 10, Atlanta. At 11:30, Dallas. She's got college group chats, family texts, a tight-knit network. Honestly, she doesn't feel lonely at all. But on the other hand, there's this physical scarcity. Her groceries, straight to the door. Dog food, on subscription. She can literally go weeks with actually setting foot inside a physical store. And she lives just 60 yards from a neighbor she only knows well enough to give a polite little wave to. And then the system breaks. At 10:17 a.m. on a Tuesday, Elena gets violently ill. She can't stand up. The room is spinning. She urgently needs to get to a clinic. And her highly suspicious 9-year-old terrier, Milo, desperately needs to be let out. Her phone is blowing up with concerned messages from friends in 4 different time zones. But here's the catch. None of those people can physically walk into her townhouse and take care of Milo. Distance, Elena realizes, is no longer measured in flight time when you urgently need someone to physically enter your house.
She's on the phone with her sister Hannah in Virginia, completely agonizing over what to do. And Hannah delivers this piece of tough love. You're 43 years old, and you're afraid to ask your neighbor to feed your dog. Ouch. Right? But that stings just enough to force Elena to grab a spare key from her junk drawer, a key that has literally sat completely unused for years, and walk across the street in her slippers to talk to her neighbor Ruth.
Well, Ruth immediately agrees to take the dog, and it turns out she actually already knows Milo's feeding habits just from observing him through the window over the years. When Elena hands over that key, she realizes what she's actually offering is access. Access means giving someone the ability to enter the private space where you sleep. So the absolutely crucial point here is this. Ruth doesn't know Elena's deep, dark secrets. She doesn't know about Elena's divorce 5 years ago. But Ruth knows which car belongs in the driveway. She knows when her lights come on. And she knows that her dog Milo is an absolute liar who pretends he hasn't been fed. It is a completely different, yet incredibly vital category of knowing someone. Now for section 3, story 2, Thursday groceries. Let's take a look at the story of Walter. He's a 74-year-old retired city building inspector who fiercely insists to his adult children that he has absolutely everything he needs. But after his wife died, he kept up his routines for a while, until slowly, the structure just fell away. He realized that total freedom makes a week strangely shapeless. Think about it. If you can mow the lawn on Tuesday or Wednesday and eat dinner at 5 or 7, then Monday starts to feel exactly like Thursday. Now, Walter wasn't depressed, and he completely hated the word lonely, but he was drifting through a life devoid of expectation. Then, a cashier at the local market ropes Walter into delivering groceries to a neighbor, Mrs. Rao, who recently had eye surgery. And this brilliantly illustrates how a simple favor evolves into community. Just look at this progression of grocery lists. What starts as a rigid list of demands quickly morphs into banter. Coriander, yes, coriander, playfully written in all caps because Walter forgot it the first time. Then it becomes a bit more conversational. Peaches, but only if they look good. And finally, it turns into actual genuine care. Your coffee is on sale, and cookies from bakery, too. One is yours. Suddenly, Walter isn't just surviving. He has a reason to wake up early on a Thursday. He has a destination. But 4 months later, Mrs. Rao's doctor clears her to drive again. So, no more grocery deliveries. The very next Thursday, Walter finds himself standing in his living room at 10:47 a.m., staring out the window, completely lost. It leads to this really powerful realization. What happens when nobody needs you anymore? He thought he was the one helping Mrs. Rao, but in reality, she was the one giving his Thursdays a shape and a purpose. Walter's next steps are honestly a roadmap for any of us. First, he admits to himself that after 41 years of being a highly demanded inspector, he actually misses being interrupted. Second, he tells his daughter to stop just checking on him and to actually ask him for help when she needs it. And third, he actively responds by volunteering as a driver for neighborhood errands. He officially puts himself back into the path of needing and being needed by his local community. All right, Section 4, Story 3, The Seventh Gang. So, unlike Walter, Noah is a 29-year-old remote software engineer who has intentionally arranged his expensive apartment life to avoid any forced accidental human encounters. But look at how life finds a way on this timeline. His apartment is near a walking trail where 4 older men play chess every Saturday. In October, Noah just walks past them, trying his best to be invisible. In November, one of the guys literally calls him over and ropes him into a game where he is completely defeated. By December, it's cold, so the group moves to the local library, and Noah starts bringing coffee. He still refuses to call it a commitment. But then comes February. There's a severe server crash at work, and Noah completely misses his Saturday morning routine. When he finally shows up the following Saturday, the group immediately hits him with this quote, "Where were you last week?" And you know what? That is the exact moment everything clicks for Noah. No one had asked him that since he moved to Ohio. His absence had actually left an empty place in a physical pattern. A few weeks later, as spring thaws the park, the oldest player, Luis, makes Noah carry the chess set home. Well, Noah accidentally leaves the chipped white knight in his jacket pocket. Now, instead of just waiting a week or shooting a quick text, Noah actually puts on his shoes, braves the cold, and walks 8 minutes across town to return it to Luis's house. And this perfectly illustrates the point. Noah proves to himself that objects and people gather deep meaning simply through sheer physical repetition. Bringing us to Section 5, The Missing Pieces. Bringing all these threads together, the crucial thesis is this. Social health isn't just about being loved. It's about being needed locally and showing up. Elena learns that digital love across 1,000 miles and physical care across the street serve completely different human needs. Walter discovers that receiving love is not the same as being strictly necessary to someone's week. And Noah discovers that belonging can begin long before deep intimacy, simply by being a reliable part of the local scenery. True community requires inconvenient, repeated, physical interactions. Now, what's amazing is that there is even more to this source material. We've only covered 3 of the 5 incredible stories from our source today. There are 2 more beautiful, really poignant stories waiting for you. That includes Marcus, who learns a hard lesson about AI companionship, and Denise, a cafeteria worker who completely changes a whole neighborhood with just 2 folding tables. To read the rest of these stories, please visit imaginarytalks.com/social-health-stories-belonging-loneliness. You will not regret seeing how Marcus and Denise find their own social health. So I want to leave you with one final provocative question to think about today. The question isn't just, do I have enough relationships? The real question is, whose life is different because you keep showing up? Look around your street, your local market, your park. Who expects to see you? Whose they is a little more structured because you exist in their physical world? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer today, and I really hope you start making a little more room in your life to be interrupted.